In our continuing conversations with one of the more highlighted races in the Valley this year, of course, the race for sheriff, we continue our conversation with the four candidates. And joining us on 710 KURV, he is the Republican challenger to the interim sheriff. It is Al Perez joining us on the Valley's Morning News. Thanks so much for joining us, Al. So why are you running?
Well, first of all, it is my pleasure to be on with you all. And the reason for me running is very simple. Having worked at the sheriff's office, you know, there comes a time when you either sit down and keep your mouth shut or stand up and do something. And in light of everything that occurred, I decided to stand up and do something about it, even though I've never done anything like this before.
And full disclosure here, I am the Republican chairman for Hidalgo County, and it was Al who came to me and said, I'm retiring. I would like to run. Okay, Al, so what ideas do you bring to the table?
Well, my platform is real simple. First of all, we bring in a new administration, completely new administration, completely new internal affairs unit. We move the resources that need to be moved to be more effective for the public. We make changes immediately. There's a lot of changes that could have been done immediately that still haven't been made. Another platform idea of mine is also making changes so that we can bring fairness to the employees and staff of the sheriff's office when it comes down to assignments and promotions. And my final, which is one of the most important, is bringing in a civilian review board, or what we call a citizen review board.
Okay.
Where anything that happens within the department will be investigated, then put before a board, a board that consists of citizens from our community.
And for one of the ideas that I'm very familiar with is your promise to remove all the senior leadership that is still there after Lupe Trevino. Those folks are still on the payroll. Is that just a campaign promise, or is that something that you actually can follow through with? Because that sounds like a pretty tall promise. That's a lot of people that you would be removing.
Unfortunately, it's rough, but it's something that has to be done. And I've spoken to quite a few people over it. And I tell them, it's nothing personal. It is completely business. And taking to light what has occurred is something that must be done.
And for Al Perez is the Republican challenger. You'll see him on the ballot running for sheriff in Hidalgo County. Our guest right now on 710 KURV.
Mr. Perez, Tim Sullivan here, and you are running against at least one of the guys there who, the interim sheriff, who has a proven record of cleaning up corruption as a constable, a guy who was brought in to do the same now with the sheriff's office following the ouster of Sheriff Trevino. So how do you make the argument that some have that Sheriff Guerra is part of that old guard?
Well, if he did, in fact, clean up the constable's office, maybe he did it there. He hasn't done it at the sheriff's office. And it was real simple. When he came in, I believe that if he would have brought in a new slate of people and would have been able to say, Lupe Trevino's administration is no longer here, I don't think I'd be running. I think things would be good.
How do you bring in a completely new slate, kick a bunch of other guys out with making a whole bunch of other people mad at you?
Yes, true.
Well, it's like I said, it's nothing personal against the people that are there that work with Trevino. It's about being accountable. If I bring in my people, then I'm responsible. He didn't bring in these people. They were already there. So they can be used as scapegoats. I'm not going to pass the buck, and I'm not going to make scapegoats. I'm going to be accountable. And if somebody that I put there did something wrong, I'm totally accountable. It's my fault. It's not nobody else's. It's mine.
Well, I've known you to wear one of those Marine caps all the time, being a former Marine. But what about the cowboy hat? How come you're not wearing a cowboy hat? Dude, kind of looked like the sheriff part. Huh? What's going on with that? Yeah?
Honestly, I'm from Los Angeles, and it's part of the culture here. I know, and believe it or not, I have worn a Western hat.
Okay, well, we'll make sure to play the Born in East LA's theme song for you every time that we bring you on the show. And I'll tell you what I told the previous guy. You want to trash talk in the final seconds? Time is yours.
Yes, sir. So I just encourage people to come out and vote.
Okay.
The vote will make a difference.
All right. Al, thank you so much for your time. Al Perez, the Republican challenger. He is running for sheriff in Hidalgo County. Thank you much for joining us on 710 KURV.